those dots for you specifically, hold yourself accountable to doing the right things for your body as it evolves and mutates and changes throughout your decades of your life, because your body when you were born and you were a bouncing baby at 3 months old is very different from your body today. So I'm just putting that out there. But
Woo! Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There was somebody else.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Trisha
Champion. So I'm going to say that it depends on the person and it depends on their self-advocacy, because if you go to a doctor, any doctor at all, it's going to be you and how you advocate for yourself. So you need to be the spokesperson for yourself, and you need to be able to speak up and say what you need and what you're willing to ask for and what you're willing to want. Because if you take the time with your doctor and you tell your doctor, this is what I need and this is what I want from you, you get what you need and what you want. If you don't ask for and you don't take interest in your own health and you just accept the fact that the doctor's going to say everything is fine and there's nothing that you need or want, then you don't get anything from the doctor. It's just like any other self-service. It's like any other customer line. If you don't speak up and ask for what you need or what you want, you don't get it. So that's my answer to that.
Well, I'll push back on you on what you just said. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and medicine today is very different from medicine even 10 years ago. I think that being well educated, having someone who is on top of the trends, understanding new studies that are out there are people that dedicate their lives to that. Like tech, not everybody's going to know every single gadget out there, but you better damn well know I do. I dive into those just because I want to know what is available and what isn't. I don't do the same in the health space. I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the time. So yes, I will get a coach. I will, again, I said in theory, I will get the person who is credentialed correctly as well. I do my research. So I just think at the end of the day, we need to we need to be observant and we need to speak up. But sometimes we don't even know what we need to speak up about, because sometimes we're looking over here and maybe that doctor is an awesome doctor. Didn't even think, because it's happened to me when my doctor said, "Oh, hey, I'm having my legs are swelling a lot. Like, let's look into this." She didn't even think, because my water levels or whatever levels she saw were fine. But when I told her, hey, let's think about, my age, my, menopause, let's think about those types of things, she was like, oh, okay, let's go down that a little bit more. And the next time we spoke, we had a more intelligent conversation. But a lot of that came from me having also other people that I was tapping into for knowledge, right? And I'm not saying Google Med either, right? I'm talking to other people that expertise lies in that. So don't close your minds to someone who may open your mind a little bit better. It's almost like you going to Toastmasters to help yourself speak clearly in public and more concisely. It's just practicing to think clearly, right? Even when you're nervous. Same thing. You're just practicing a skill. Well, when you go speak to and advocate for yourself, if you've never done it before, well, yeah, it'd be nice to have someone on the side saying, look, you need to talk about this, you need to dive into that. That's super helpful. Like when I hear Health Wells coming in here and speaking on different things, I do mention them to my doctor. Like, hey, can I do this? But I'm allergic to this. And they give different things to think about. So that's the only reason I push back. Like, hey, yeah, when you know and you're privileged, right? Because you're a nurse, so you know the lingo, you know the language, you know the terminology. It's easy for you in that medical space to discern what's right and wrong and whatever, but other people may not have that, right? Well, so just keep that in mind as well.
Dora, but I would push back to say that that's exactly what I'm talking about, and that's what you're explaining, and you're using examples like tech and stuff. I just said it's like in any customer service field, right? So I would have to explain to you as a person in my business, this is what I have and what I need from you. And if you're not the right person, then you would have to share with me that I don't understand that and I don't know that. I would have to expect that from a doctor too. If I'm explaining just like you just said, my water levels and maybe we should consider this and we should consider that. It's the same thing as the tech field. Dora, this is my business and maybe we should consider this and consider that. And then you would have more insight as to my business. Right? That's the same thing. It's
Yeah,
just,
but what I was trying to caveat is that there are some people, right, some doctors that are, because I've had doctors before that just do what is required. That's it. They don't look further than that. They don't look deeper than that. They don't look at outside things. They don't look at the natural way. They just like to prescribe a pill. And a lot of things in the US are built that way because the pharmaceutical companies are in the pockets of a lot of things here. So I have my thoughts about that. So I definitely know that there's some doctors who don't care. Like they don't care about people. It's a job that makes a lot of money for them and they do it because it's a job. And all I'm saying is
I wholeheartedly agree with Dora Maria. If you read the chat, I don't want to disrupt the room, but I have an experience with this, and I'm glad that I'm amongst these people, Breakfast with Champions, because we're authors here. But I'm going to write about my experience in 2023, not only with my health journey, but how they medical malpractice with my son. And that doctor that I had for my first surgery, he didn't listen to a dang word I said. And my family doctor felt like his hands were tied behind his back, and all he could do was send me to outpatient for IVs because there was nothing that the surgeon in Springfield, Illinois would do for me but make me wait and starve to death. And yes, again, he got paid. Everybody got paid, but he didn't do what he was required to do. And his ego was so huge, it makes me ill. It just makes me so ill.
but did you choose to go to a different doctor?
Yes, 4 months later, after I starved to death and my body was eating away at my muscle. And of all the things, I had to go to other people that was suffering with the same condition to understand what was going on. I asked many, many questions. I came back several times begging for his help. He just made me wait. Oh, you just have to be patient. Patient for what? Oh, you should be able to drink this and drink that. I said, nothing's happening. Then he stretched the bottom of my esophagus. You should be able to eat pureed foods. Was that my prognosis? Was that what it's going to be for the rest of my life? And I will tell you, I live in Illinois, and in the capital of our state, the medical system bites. There's many people that I work with, coworkers, they made sure that when our insurance changed, they would have made sure that they could go to St. Louis doctors because that's how awful and bad it is. And there's been many people die from cancer because they've been piddled back and forth. Well, I don't know what the problem could be. And by the time they find it, it's too late. Oh, if we'd have found this cancer earlier, we would have been able to help you. And nobody has to pay the consequences. It's very sad.
I see that the healthcare system is horrible, but I don't agree that it's always the individual doctor. It's the system. It's not always the individual doctor. And I don't think that I can't get into this argument right now. I don't believe doctor is the person that receives the benefit in their pocket. I think that we need to look at that sometimes.
I agree with you.
The current system, and she would like to retire because she's seen a lot of things being passed off or not taken care of or not paid attention to. And she said she just comes to work with the full intention to help her patients the best she can, but she can't fight the system, the health care system as it is. So I will say that.
Yeah, and there's many nurses and many doctors that feel that way.
Absolutely. There's been a so Trisha, I want to say I agree. Was there was one second, Clint. I heard Debbie going, and then we'll come right to you.
Good morning. I just wanted to say quickly, first, I love Health's rooms because I do learn so much. I'm one of those people who was a huge advocate for myself, but I've also had to learn the questions to ask. I do know that there are some good doctors out there. I know that their hands are also very tied. New York City has one of the best healthcare systems in the country and one of the worst, in that you can only get what insurance will pay for, but this is true anywhere, right? So I've been in situations where I've wanted to dig deeper, but the answer was, we can't. Your insurance won't cover it. So unless I had the money out of pocket to go do the digger deeping, the deeper digging, it was not going to happen. And I feel for people who don't have that. And I'll give an example in a minute. I know that there are good doctors out there, and I know that their hands are tied. But now going to the doctor used to be 30 minutes. It's now 15. My yearly physical is 30 minutes. If I need a checkup for something, it's 15. You cannot ascertain anything about me in 30 minutes. The only thing that you can do is ask me a bunch of the same questions. And when my daughter went for an issue, she was told directly by the doctor, you have to do your physical now. And if there's an issue or a problem, you have to make a separate appointment for that. Physical happened in September, separate appointment for the issue or problem happened in January. In between that time, what's happening in the body, right? So that's how the healthcare system is now set up, to Teresa's point. So I'll just give this example and I'll let it go. All of the lovely changes that no one was paying attention to because we all don't understand how the healthcare system works, but we find out on the back end when it finally comes to us. Now, and I don't know if this is everywhere, but I know for sure, here in New York City, when a woman goes to get a mammogram, you used to be able to get an ultrasound in case you had dense breasts, and it was covered. It is not anymore. So if you're a woman who goes for a mammogram, you have to get approval to get a diagnosis for dense breasts, number one. Number two, you now have to pay out of pocket for the sonogram, which is $150. This used to be covered by insurance. Right? So this is a systematic problem. It's one of the reasons why health rooms are so important, because the way the system is going, even if you know the questions to ask, unless you've got a backup fund, you're going to be up the creek kind of without a paddle. I yield the mic.
Oh, that was so powerful, and I'm so grateful. Thank you, Dora, and thank you, Trisha. Thank you, Debbie, and thank you, Teresa, for what you guys have pitched in. And I'm gonna chime in after I hear Clint's viewpoint. Go for it, Clint. Thank you for your patience.
My name is I am a health coach, and I have my own personal journey. I lost 115 pounds, and I chose not to go medical. And don't strike me down, but because I believe that not all medical people want you healthy. Otherwise, they would be out of business. So I got involved in health coaching to help people. And I do a thorough investigation of somebody's reason for being on the health thing. I do a metabolic reset diagnosis. I ask them their current. Now, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a health coach, but I go down the list of everything. I want to know about your high blood pressure. I want to know about your diabetes. I want to know about these things that really matter. And I did on my journey, when I started my journey, I had high blood pressure. I was on the metformin for pre-diabetes. And just being honest, I had so many things that wouldn't work all the time. And it was embarrassing at 47 years old. And I don't trust the medical industry as far as I could throw them in all cases. And not in all cases, but weight loss, definitely. I've seen people who have got the belt, the lap band, they've done the medical thing, they're stuck on pills. These GLP-1s are supposed to be a tool, not a life-giving, you're not supposed to live on these things. They're supposed to be tools. And after I lost 80 pounds, my doctor laughed at me and asked me, he said, what kind of side effects are you having from taking the medication? And I said, well, none. And he goes, well, I'm surprised. He says, you shouldn't even be on these medications. And I'm like, well, you're the professional. Why am I on the medication? So got off the medication, and for almost 4 years, I have been diabetes free, high blood pressure free, and I'll just put it this way, my ED is under control. Because I lost the weight, and I really, really feel that, and I'm intentional about learning your habits. I'm intentional about learning who you are. A health coach is going to be relatable to you. And if they're not the right health coach. They need to be, we have to have a serious conversation, a serious, and sometimes I know that I'm a man, and sometimes asking women certain questions is very uncomfortable, but at the same time, I want life-changing results. I want life-changing habits. Your lifestyle has to change. And you need to help. You need help. I needed help. I was 325 pounds, miserable. If I didn't join the health journey that I joined and built it with the community and the coaches, invading my personal space, but they invaded my personal space for what I needed. I just feel that that's when I became a health coach, I wanted to fix me. I want to help fix me. And the doctors don't know you. The doctors don't, if nobody's ever been 325 pounds before and miserable and having the medical conditions you have, how can they help? So I want to focus on helping people and changing lifestyle habits. I've helped over 3,000 pounds lost. I've helped several people get off medication just by doing it the natural way. Again, I'm not a licensed health professional, but I do know what I know, that your body can fix itself. You've got to reset your metabolism. You've got to let somebody help you, and you've got to surrender. You got to surrender your wants. I hear all the time, I can do this. I know what I'm doing. The doctor said, let me really know how that's working out for you, because you're still in the same boat and you haven't changed your habits. And you're wondering why, when you stop a program, you've gained 40% to 50% of the body weight that you lost. And now you're over what you even started. So I just really, really feel that medical is great in some areas, but they're not really going to help you really get 100% out of their office, because then they lose money. And that's personally what I believe. And I yield the mic. Thank you so much for letting me speak.
Oh, thank you so much, Clint. And I'm so glad that you are a brother on this health and wellness path, and helping to coach people through something that you have been a living witness, as to the impacts and the effects of it. And you know what, Baisha, you know what I thought about was when he mentioned the ED, I was like, okay, this is another like proof of that after hour session, that our after rucking and bucking session, Trisha, that we were talking about doing one night. Yes, when I could go through all of the different, you guys, you have to come back at night. In the morning, we're a little more PG, right, Marla? But I'm definitely going to go over some more natural, like, nutrients and things that you can get for food that help not only clear the pathway in our hearts and our arteries, but in certain areas as well. So I feel like that's that added. He's like the third person that had a mention of like how, certain illnesses and medications had an effect on him. And I appreciate that vulnerability and that transparency, because that's how we get the growth. And I agree with Dora and Trisha and with most of what have been said here, because here's the thing, there's been a great walking away. So I want you guys to know, like, there's some of the doctors and nurses and other healthcare practitioners who've just got, like, they've had their feel of it. They walked away. Like, I'm one of them. So I'm just saying, like, here's the thing with that, is that there's a system at play here that's so much bigger than most people would even know and realize. And this is why you're seeing more and more people who have the training and understand the human body, who actually do care and want to get help people get better. And this is why I love what Trisha's doing. She's helping other nurses get out of the trap. And honest, like you feel like you're in a trap house in many ways. And so that's why I'm so passionate about what I'm doing, and also the, helping to train the next generation of people who are going in, so that they are understanding, like their eyes are wide open, so that they don't burn out and get sucked in and just caught up in the machine. But there are physicians that absolutely care. And I'll tell you guys a personal example really quick, as I get ready to wind this down, because I really want to get to the remaining benefits that I wanted you guys to know. And a simple call to action that I want you guys to do. I just have, just a 7-day thing that I want you guys to just, it ain't gonna cost you no money. I just want you guys to consider doing this and making this agreement for yourself and for your bodies and for your future and for your families, in essence, right? So many of you know that I had a TIA, which is like a mini stroke, right? I literally was trying to work myself to death. Like out on the field. Went 2 days, no sleep. I'm talking about beyond belief stress, worked out in the hot sun like all day, no hydration, no shade, no nothing. So imagine all of these things converging at once. So my panels are great, got the artery age of a 26-year-old, right? So my doctor, I had an appointment, and I had to reschedule it. And so there was a visiting, like, how like when people have to fill in. And so this guy, my doctor is a DO. And so he wasn't going to be able to see me. And they were like, you sure you want to see, new? So this one was an MD, right? New guy. And so he's getting ready, line me up, Trisha, finna rush me on out, because I went, he wanted me to be able to, my original DO wanted me to be able to go to see a specialist, even though all of my labs and everything looked great, right? So this guy was just like, nah, cut her loose. Blood pressure is, amazing. All of these things, like blood sugar, glucose, all of these things are like, to his surprise, especially for someone of my size, right? So, um, I didn't realize my attending was there, and I've been with them for like decades at this point. And so when he took the chart back and was going to sign off and was telling the nurse to get me ready to head out, right? Yeah, my doctor actually, the attending came. It was just, and sat down. He's like, oh, absolutely not. He's like, do you see this family history? And so he just went through. He's like, if everybody in her family has heart disease, all of them are on blood pressure, there are disorders to where like they can have all of these numbers look great. But I forget, there was a specific protein that he said he wanted to send me to a cardiologist to just to double check. He wanted to be thorough. So like when I think about that, like there are people, and I heard Dr. Hyman, gosh, why is the term is escaping me, because I wanted to mention it today. But not, I said all that to say this: the attending who knew me and knew my history, my family history so well, this new kid on the block, the regular MD, was ready to, push me on out. Honestly, I want to say it was like 10 minutes. But my attending was just like, oh, to the no. Nope, absolutely not. This isn't, it's not normal. Like you got to look at the whole picture. No, we're sending her to get a study. We're going to test for this protein, because what, like labs have shown that people who have this, yeah, all of these, her blood pressure is normal. Yep, all of these, but yeah, and still look at this family history, and we can't get over that situation. And yes, it most likely was deprivation and stress induced, and it wasn't a spike in her blood pressure that caused that. However, we don't want to not look under every rock. And I just saw like the shock and awe on that other doctor's face as my attending was like talking to him, like who I didn't even realize was there, because I was like the last appointment of the day. but I'm just saying that there are people who care. And I'm grateful, you guys, I did go through all the testing and all of that, and everything's fine and everything's great. And he was just like, I just wanted to have an abundance of caution just because of your family history and how many women already, your aunts and your grandmother, who've already passed away in their 50s in your family. And I just didn't want to make sure that I didn't miss something, you know, just because I understand like the biology that's at play when it comes down to you and your family. So I just wanted to share that, not all, not, but there are some doctors that are just like what, Maisha mentioned and Dora mentioned, but there are those that what me and Trisha know to be true. So you guys, this closing call to action, right? I want you to think like of the fact that natural don't mean casual. Like I don't want you to think that, oh, this is just like some hocus pocus. And you guys, I'm going in deep tonight during Ruckin' and Buckin' at 7 o'clock. So if you guys are available, I hope you come back because me and GA got some real good stuff. It's gonna be deuces wild tonight. So I want you guys to think about rhodiola truly like a Motorola. You know what I mean? Like I want you to think it's something that you can build with. I want you to think of it as something that can help, your sleep just restore itself like just a little bit, bit better. I want you to think about something that builds stamina in like layers, right? Something that can help protect your mindset, even the way that you perceive, fatigue and tiredness. So, I want you to consider, if you're not already doing this, at least a 20-minute, like low to moderate movement. Like, and I'm saying 20 minutes of low to moderate movement because I'm okay with you if you're running and you're doing all of the high intensity stuff. But I need you to do some active forms of recovery that don't spike cortisol. So that's number one, right? Number two, and if somebody could put these in the chat, that would be great. This is that call to action of what I'm asking you guys to do. 20 minutes of low to moderate movement, right? Something that is what we call active relaxation, right? So we can build that connection with your body to not think that just because we're moving, I got to spike cortisol. Yes, you can train your body to do this. Hydration before caffeine. I'm going to say it again. Hydration before caffeine. Hydration before caffeine. You guys have a built-in 401k system within your human body that we're not tapping into. And we call it's the superhydration period. And what it is it's water-induced thermogenesis. So if you're someone that really truly wants to get a clean matching calorie type burn for a 24-hour period, put this to the test. You got to take my word for it. There are people way smarter than me who have done the studies and the research behind it. But if you would be willing to drink as little as 17 ounces or 24 ounces or more within your first waking hour, you will get a free. I'm talking about for free. This is not talking about no workout. This is not just from drinking the water in your first waking hour, taking advantage of the thermogenesis that is available to you, right? You can get an upwards of 30 to 50% calorie burn on top of whatever you naturally burn. I don't know about you, but I like having that 401k benefit within my calories. You know what I'm saying? I like having that benefit within my body. So here's the thing. What does that look like? So let's say I'm just going to use a round number so it's easy for us to understand. Let's say you were someone that you're burning 100 calories per minute, right? This is a phantom number, right? But just to give you the illustration of the upwards, that would be, so let's say, for instance, you got a 30% boost just from taking advantage of the superhydration period. Instead of 100 calories, that puts you at, for the next 24 hours, 130 calories a minute. Or if you're really going for it and doing, closer to the 24 or more, and you get that 50% burn. I don't know about you, but I like spending, listen, that calorie money like that. That's for free. For free. You ain't went to no gym. You ain't had to chant, do nothing other than drink that water. That water. And I need y'all to stop letting the noise of water like stop you from drinking the water. Because here's what I need you to also understand about that hydration before caffeine. You guys, if you allow yourself to be dehydrated, you're going to force your body to actually take back the pre-pee. And I'm meaning with the toxins that it was already had lined up ready to release when you urinate and you go to the restroom to release those toxins via fluids. When you're dehydrated, when you intentionally don't hydrate your body enough, your body has to have a water volume at a certain point, and to deliver those nutrients, your body has to snatch back that pre-pee and circulate it through to your vital organs with the nutrients. Think about that. So I'm asking you to hydrate before the caffeine, but I'm asking you to hydrate instead of drinking the pee. I'm sorry to give you the gross reference, but I have to make it plain so that we can dead the excuses on the water. Listen, don't let people fool you talking about some hydrogen water. All water has hydrogen. Do we not understand that? All water has hydrogen. Let's just drink the water. Drink the water that you got access to. I'm just, let's just it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. Drink the water you need. Don't put no stumbling blocks. So, number one, 20 minutes of what we would call active relaxation. Low, moderate movement. Your heart needs this. Your brain needs this. I didn't give you the why, and I'll give this. I'll give a second part to this during rucking and bucking. But your brain has a system, and the glymphatic system give your brain a chance to wash. This is why, listen, that low movement, what we call active relaxation, we do this with athletes, you guys. Your body needs, especially quarterbacks. Think about roles of people who have to really truly think on their feet, and defensive players as well, because we need to be able to think without spiking cortisol. Yes, so that we can maintain and have, the what's the word I'm looking for? Um, we're staying connected to our prefrontal cortex. I was thinking amygdala. I'm like, we're trying to disconnect from the amygdala in that regard because we don't want to be in fight or flight. You have to train your body. And I'm just asking you to just try it for 7 days. 20 minutes of low to moderate movement, in addition to whatever your high intensity hit workout, whatever else you're doing. I'm just saying 20 minutes. 20 minutes. That's all. Hydration before caffeine. Take advantage of the super hydration period, with is that first waking hour, whatever time you wake up. Protein with breakfast. Make protein a requirement. Make protein a requirement. If you do breakfast, and even if your breakfast is at lunch, even if your breakfast is at dinner time, make protein a requirement. Protein with whatever your breakfast time period is, right? An earlier bedtime. So let's say, for instance, if you are someone, and maybe if you're a night owl, hey, you take this with a grain of salt. But for some of you, you're sleep depriving yourself. What if we went to bed just a half hour earlier? An earlier bedtime, just a half hour, just to get at least 30 minutes more. Especially if you know you're waking up not rested, you know that you need more than 3 hours of sleep a night. And then one stress reset breath break. So you can do physiological sighs. So that's 2 inhales in, and you sigh it out of your mouth. It sounds like this. So the inhales, it's a double inhale in your nose and out of your mouth. Physiological sighs. Dr. Andrew Huberman has tons of research on that. And I have a cheat sheet. So if any of you guys are interested in my cheat sheet, I'll send this over to you. So we said low to moderate, movement, 20 minutes, hydration before caffeine, protein with your first meal, earlier bedtime if you can, just inch it up, half hour. One stress reset, like we gonna call our physiological size, and then we can talk to a qualified provider, you know, about, you know, adding the rhodiola if you're taking certain medications, or if you're unsure as to whether or not, you should add a rhodiola beverage to your, routine. So I don't want you to just chase energy. I need you to build stamina. I don't want you to think like, oh, there's some hocus pocus. No, I want you to support your body like you actually plan to live long and strong. That's why my moniker is live long and strong. Like, I want you to live the centenarian life that's possible for you. So I hope that you guys have found this helpful. If you want my cheat sheet, you can DM me. I figured out how to use the back channels, or Facebook is the fastest way and the easiest way. I'm always on that. Instagram, hey, go at your own risk. I don't know. I don't know how to check the messages as fast, and why they don't. I don't see them. I don't see on Instagram where you get to the inbox. So I'm very slow to respond on Instagram. However, Facebook, I got you covered. You can send me a direct email at tomyabundanthealth@gmail, or you can back channel me here on Clubhouse if you want this cheat sheet. So I have a lot of goodies in there, and I really broke down the different sections of what I discussed today and the benefits. If you forgot the bennies, but join me in GA tonight. I'll have more time. So it says it's 10:10. So anyone have anything before we close up the room?
I gotta chime in for a second, real quick. Help.
Go for it.
Teresa, I owe you an apology. There's no reason for me to have you defending your personal health experiences on here. I apologize. I totally apologize. Um, I am, I'm like a advocate for people getting what they need from the healthcare system. And like Maisha said, it sucks. The healthcare system sucks, and I do encourage nurses to speak out against the system, because they are in a system that is like failing terribly. So I apologize again. There are doctors, I don't know if you look at the system now, there are not many doctors that have their own private practice. And the reason for that is because they're getting sucked up into corporations, because they can't afford to be in the system at all and run their own private practice. With that comes those 15-minute sessions. They're being told every day that they have to see more and more patients because of the insurance companies that are charging exorbitant rates to the people out there that are paying premiums high, high, high. I'm sure you know, all of you probably that have insurance, are blessed to have insurance, are paying high premium rates out of your paychecks, out of your incomes, out of your businesses to afford these 15-minute sessions with your doctors. And it is horrible. And it is a racket. And it's because insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies are in it together to make businesses. And for those of you that don't know, my husband is in the finance side of healthcare, and I'm in the clinical side of healthcare. And it is an interesting conversation every night at our dinner table. So I apologize again for those of you that think that I'm not advocating for you on the healthcare side. I totally am. I just know that we have to fight the system and speak up for ourselves. And there are plenty of doctors out there that are trying to do the right thing. They are just stuck in the loop, and they are trying to work their job as best they can. They're all working for an employer, unfortunately, at this point, and they're being told to do the job, just get the job done. And some of them are panicking because they don't know how to get the job done and still keep their ethical line of communication open with their patients. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you, Health, for letting me share.
1000%. And thank you for that insight. It's true. I'm seeing it happen. I'm seeing former students reaching out, that have been crying and wanting to make a change and feeling frustrated. So anyone else, I just wanted to make sure everyone had an opportunity, that all hearts and mind are, clear. Is there anyone else? Anything else? Any questions or anything like that? I also put my link, my Calendly link. So I do have some complimentary 20-minute consults. If anyone has, just some questions they would prefer to ask me offline, you are welcome to do so. I also, of course, am going to make an ask for Books in the Hood. We are definitely in need of your support. We have agreed to support one of my former students who's taken on a beautiful task in Miami, and they need quite a few books. So If you guys are interested in partnering with us, Trisha is one of my advisory board members on Books in the Hood. So we have a distribution that will be coming up. And we could certainly utilize your support. I already put our links. Oh, I forgot to put our Amazon wish list link in the chat. I'll definitely I'll drop that. Did I put the address, Trisha, in the chat? But our address is there if you guys, we take used and new books, or if you want to just donate to us. I also put our PayPal donation link inside of the chat as well. So keep Books in the Hood in your prayer. We're looking forward to being able to be a blessing in the next, what, I think 3 weeks. The next 3 weeks we have to get this and meet that goal. So thank you guys. Yes, right? Time is flying. I'm like, are we already in the 18th of May? I'm like, oh, the 1st of June is almost here. So thank you guys so very much. And I just want you to walk away with this. Rhodiola is not permission for you to just get a little bit of sleep. Please do not play with me and do not play with your mitochondria. How about that? So, I like to have fun, y'all. But seriously, I really want you to consider, just like when somebody tell you about, oh, a new bread and this restaurant that tastes good. I'm just saying, consider, a rhodiola tea or a rhodiola elixir. I'm not talking about popping a pill. Just consider and see how your body may react or may like it or not. Or again, I've given you guys each week, I give you something new, something that you can add and see what works for you. So it may work for some, may not work for others. So I just wanted to always make sure that I give you guys good information, quality and solid, things that have been scientifically proven. So I like to say I'm rooted in faith and backed by science, but I also make sure that it's for everyday living, right? So thank you guys, and I hope to see you tonight in Ruckin' and Buckin', getting them bucks up, and we got the Ruck show enough going in. So I'm excited. That's 7 o'clock right here in the Breakfast with Champions. You guys were here today and every day, Monday through Friday. I think we get started at 4 a.m. in the international room, and then stateside here at 5 a.m. to around almost this time. And then on Saturdays, we got social Saturdays. And on Sundays, we have the worship room. So hope you guys have enjoyed your time. Motivation, education, and inspiration. Woo! You guys want to unmic as we do the countdown?
Thank you, Health.
Of course.
Thank you so much, Health. Thank you, Health.
Of course. Thank you, Alicia. Thanks, Trisha, Marla, Patty. Marla, can't wait to see you tonight. You gonna have permission, Marla? You know me and GA gonna clown you tonight.
Patty, thank you for coming in hot this morning.
Yes, she did. Patty brought it too. Listen, I love that. The strength of stillness. Oh, she went there, Trisha. Thank you so much. Patty from New York. So look forward to seeing you guys tonight, 7 o'clock. 5, Hakuna Matata. 4, you are loved. 3, you matter. 2, we love you. And 1, bye.
Because you're wonderful. As Patty says, mwah, mwah, mwah.
Oh, gosh.
Ear does.